Ravenbound is an open-world roguelite game. I initially became interested in this game when I saw Carnage play it on his stream because the gameplay looked very interesting and something that would be right up my alley. As we got closer to launch, I requested a code and Systemic Reaction was kind enough to send me over a code so that I could check it out and tell you guys my opinions on it. Now, I've played this game on the release day. I did a live stream of about 5 hours and change. So if you guys want to watch my initial impressions as I'm experiencing the game for the very first time, you can check out that. The VOD is going to be available, and there's a huge chunk of gameplay so that you can see like a whole lot. In this video, I'm going to be being a little bit more succinct. I'm going to be telling you guys the things that I like about the game, things that I don't like about the game, and I'm going to do 1 or maybe 2 runs just to tell you guys how the mechanics of this game work. So let's start things off with my biggest complaint about this game and what I consider to be one of the most important things for people to know if you are considering purchasing the game. And that is the fact that this is an always online game. In order to play this game, you're going to need to have what is called an Apex Connect account. So basically you need to go and create something over on the studio's website, and then you can log in and then you can start playing the game. Now naturally, you might be wondering, oh, so is this a multiplayer game? There's going to be co-op, PvP, anything like that? From what I can tell, no, at least not in its current state. There is one feature that is considered like a social feature, I guess, and that is that whenever somebody dies, there's a chance that in your game, in the location where that person died, a little piece of cursed loot is going to show up and you can get some additional loot. Again, it is cursed loot, which I'll explain a little bit when we go into the gameplay aspect of it. But to be honest, I feel like I would prefer to have the game offline and not even have that feature. I don't think it's that big of a deal. But let me know in the comments section how you feel. Maybe you think differently. Now, this game is priced at 30 euros or $30, so this is not priced on the AAA range. So naturally, don't expect to have like, oh my god, I expect at least God of War quality from this game. Clearly, that's not what the studio is shooting for. However, it is also important to say that this game has a tendency to crash. Currently, the game is only available on Steam, as far as I'm aware. It's only available on PC, no console release. And during my live stream that I did, during the 5 hours that I played the game, it crashed 3 times. Right before this recording, it crashed again. So the game has a tendency to crash, and I believe that there are some Steam reviews that talk about that as well. There's a lot of people that are complaining because the game crashes quite often, which is a shame because personally, I actually like the game. I think the game is a lot of fun. But with the crashing issue and the fact that it is always online, it makes it much harder to recommend. In my opinion, if you're considering getting into this game, I would just say you should probably wait a little bit. Wait for a couple of patches so that they fix the crashing problems that the game has, and maybe even implement an offline mode. That would be like my biggest suggestion to the team if any of them happen to watch this video, is like, seriously, implement an offline mode. People will be way happier than being forced to play the game always online when this is basically a single-player game. If it was a multiplayer game, it'd be a different conversation, but that's not the case. Now, let's take a look at the game. As you guys can see, we're currently in the main menu, and you guys see a bunch of stuff in here, challenges, most successful run, all of that stuff. This is a roguelite, so you are expected to play the game for a little bit, then die, it's permadeath, and then you get a new character, and you go back in with more knowledge of what you are doing, as well as a couple of things that you unlock between runs that make you a little bit more powerful. But the reality of it is, most of your power is going to come from experience, knowing which traits to choose, which upgrades to choose for your character, and all of that jazz, right? But as you can see, there's a currency on the upper right-hand side of the screen. I currently have 309 of that currency. I believe that's called legacy points. And the legacy points are acquired by basically just playing the game. And then eventually, as you get more legacy points, you can unlock these special traits. Now, these traits, as you can see, there's 3 of them. Actually, my face is in the way. Let me remove my face real quick so that you guys can see. There's the traits, folk, and weapon traits. So whenever the game rolls characters for you to choose from for each of the runs, because that's what the game does, it's going to generate 3 characters, which I'll show you in a second. Whenever the game generates characters, it's going to pick 1 trait. So one of these things here at the top, one of these. It's going to generate 1 folk. It seems like it always generates 1 of each. So you have Simlar, you have Human, and you have Olvar. And these are like races for your character. You do not actually create your character. Your character is randomly generated by the game. And it'll choose one trait, it'll choose the race, and it will choose a weapon trait. Now the weapon trait basically is the weapon itself. Right now I've unlocked longsword, great axe, axe, double axe, and sword and shield. These are the weapons that I've unlocked. If you get more of the currency, you can also unlock twin swords as well as great weapon, which I believe the great weapon is like a two-handed sword. Or maybe it's two-handed swords and great axes. I don't exactly know. I unlocked this Berserker card, was the last thing that I unlocked, and I'm curious to see what this does. But anyway, that's just the way that it goes. You go through and you unlock these things, and after you unlock them, you get additional things for each of the runs that you do. One of the things that I unlocked that I really like is this, which is the Aggressive Thrill Seeker, which says, while Frenzied is active, critical hit chance increased by 30%. Frenzied is whenever you do a perfect dodge, your character becomes frenzied, and you have additional crit, and perfect dodge is really, really powerful. There's a set of challenges that you can do, which unlock new cards, which cards are the upgrades that you get while you are playing the game. You guys will see how that works. And as you can see here, these are the cards that I've unlocked so far. There's plenty of cards still to unlock, so I don't even have all of the upgrades unlocked for use in my character. Now, let's actually jump into the game and start playing so that I can show you guys what gameplay looks like. As I told you, the game is going to generate 3 characters for you. We have Osur Jonsborn here, who is an Olvar. He's got sword and shield, and he's got defensive, so he has additional armor. Then we have Christoph Lind. He's a Simlar. He is a Great Axe Specialist, and he is a Parrier. He's got 50% reduced health, 70% reduced guard health, but perfect guard. So this makes him very good at parrying, essentially, is what that does. But at the same time, he comes with less health than other characters. Now we have the human here, who is a Berserker. He's got Aggressive Thrill Seeker. And yeah, I think we're going to go with this human here. He's got dual axes. I actually kind of suck at dual axes. My weapon of choice is usually the sword and shield. I'm pretty decent with sword and shield. But hey, you know, it is what it is. This is the characters that we got. You can re-roll your vessels, but I wouldn't really recommend that. Just play the game, die, and come back. It's not a big deal. So we're going to go ahead and jump into the game. Now, when you jump into the game, you're going to start off from this room. Let me take a sip of water. My throat is dry as hell. You're going to start at this room, and this room is something that unlocks the more you play. Usually when you start, you just have this one right here, which is the, I believe it's the Gale. So it's a wind-based boss. But as you play more of the game, you unlock more bosses. So I have this boss right now. I have this one. This one's like a fire boss. And this one I don't know, because I've never actually gotten to fight against this boss. But I think that for our demonstration here today, we're going to be jumping into this one, which is one of the easier ones from my personal interpretation. So once you jump out of the room, you become a raven. The raven can fly, and as you can see, this is the open world of the game. They say open world. There really isn't that much to it from what I've seen in the 5 hours that I've played in my live stream. You can see that there are some icons in the map, icons like that one that is right on top of my raven's head right now. Those are raven shrines. So basically, if we dive in there and we transform out of raven, whoops, I went a little bit further than I intended to. You can transform out of raven at any time by pressing the circle button on a PlayStation or B button if you are playing on an Xbox controller. You have to hold it for a little bit. But basically, whenever you find one of these shrines, you can take flight again. There's no limit to the amount of time that you can fly. You can fly all across. You can explore as much as you want to your heart's content. As a matter of fact, I would recommend, because once you go by certain statues and stuff for the very first time, the game will actually give you some of that currency that you get for, you know, the currency that you can spend in between runs for additional traits and things like that. So that's something to consider. But anyways, when you first get started, you're going to see all of these icons. These are just camps that have enemies in them, minus the Raven Shrines. These are just things to allow you to navigate the map a little bit quicker. The big red things, those are mountains where there will be boss fights, although you probably shouldn't just begin a run and jump right into a boss fight. You can, and probably like really good players will eventually end up doing that to fully speed run the game or something, but I'm not at that level, not even close yet, so we're not going to be doing that. Instead, we have these other 2 icons that you can see. These will change pretty much every run, I'm pretty sure. So the green icon is a side quest. This will lead you to a town. In the town, there will be a quest there, and doing that quest will get you a little bit of gold. And the blue quest marks your main quest. Now, whenever you start a brand new run, one of the things that you want to do is you want to fly towards your main quest, because the beginning of each run, they open this tear in the ground. And that tear in the ground is going to have like an enemy there. You defeat that enemy and you gain some starting mana, which will allow you to like upgrade your character and stuff like that, because that's what you use. You use mana to upgrade your character. So you get some starting mana, and it will also purify some of the chests around that area. And what do I mean by that? So most of the chests in this game and most of the camps, so like for instance, that right there is an elite camp. I'm going to dive there so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. So as you can see, there's a chest there. It's like a vase looking thing. It's surrounded by orange. That means that that thing is corrupted by hatred. What that means is if you loot that, you're going to get a little bit of hatred corruption. And what hatred corruption does is whenever you draw cards to upgrade your character, it is going to make all of the enemies stronger. So the game allows you to loot that, but it will make the enemies around this area stronger, as well as the boss of the area that you're fighting also becomes stronger. So ideally, at the very beginning, you might not want to be looting cursed chests and whatnot. It's probably a bad idea. So we're going to jump in here. And this is the tear that I told you shows up in the ground. And in there, there's going to be an enemy. Actually, there's two enemies in this one. And once you defeat those two enemies, it is going to basically clear up some of the corruption around this area, and then you can loot a couple of chests without necessarily getting any of that hatred debuff that I was talking about that makes all of the enemies stronger. So that should be like your first objective. Come over here and kill these dudes. So how do we go about and kill some dudes? Well, basically you press your right bumper button or R1 and you get a light attack, or you press the right trigger and you get a heavy attack. You can also charge both of these attacks. So this is the charged light attack, and then the charged heavy attack. These attacks are going to be different depending on the weapons that you are using, so do keep that in mind. Besides that, you also have a block button, which is the left bumper. This block should be used as a parry and not as an actual block. There's no actual, regular blocking. There's just a parry button. And then there is something which is called focus. Now, by default, focus is on the circle button if you're using a PlayStation controller, or the B button if you are using an Xbox gamepad. But I swapped it. So focus, what does it do? Whenever you are doing well in combat, you'll see that below my health gauge, there is another gauge. That gauge starts filling up. You press that button and you become more powerful, you deal more damage, all of that good stuff. But I swapped that around and I moved that one to left trigger because left trigger was bound to dodge. And naturally, I want to be able to dodge in circle or B because, if you're a Souls player, then that is just like ingrained into your memory. Unless you're playing the Japanese version of the games, which I believe dodge becomes cross or something like that. But anyways, that's besides the point. You guys get the idea. An important thing to keep in mind is if you press block button at the right time, that's going to be a perfect parry, and that makes your character invincible for a couple of seconds. And if you dodge at the last second, that's going to be a perfect dodge, and that is going to buff you into frenzied mode for a couple of seconds, which in my case also happens to increase my critical chance by 30% because I took that that trait in my character that I told you guys about. But anyway, let's jump in there and see some combat, shall we? We missed. Ooh, a Juggernaut and a Slayer. Okay, so you're going to want to be careful with these enemies because it's very easy for them to get you like off guard because there's two of them. So as you can see, we're frenzied. We did 2 perfect dodges, and as we're frenzied, we're going to be dealing more damage. We're going to do a perfect dodge there again. I tend to dodge a lot, like I said, because dodging is really powerful. You can animation cancel anything into a dodge. So yeah, the combat is... I think that players who play this game better than me are going to very easily exploit the combat with both dodging and parrying. You can also animation interrupt anything into a parry. As you can see, I missed the timing on that one, but I didn't miss that one. Whoops, we got hit again. Now, one of the things that you'll notice is whenever we get hit, this has almost like a Bloodborne type mechanic where you can regain some of your health by instantly attacking the enemies again. And if you do your combat just right, you're going to be able to basically keep them staggered quite a bit when you're just doing one-on-ones. Now, whenever you kill elite enemies, which these two enemies just happen to be elites, they're going to drop these fragments. You're going to want to pick that up because these fragments are basically how you're going to be upgrading your character. Now, if you notice in the lower right-hand side, you'll notice that we have 2 fragments, and you can fill that up with 3. Once you get 3 fragments, you get to basically draw 3 cards, and you pick one, and that's going to be like your first character upgrade. Now, another thing is whenever you do this tear thing at the very beginning of each run, you're going to get the option to absorb mana. This is going to give you 5 mana, and that is going to come into play a little bit later. When we get our first couple of cards, I'll explain to you guys how that mechanic works. Another thing that our character has access to is with square or X, if you are on a Xbox controller, you get a grappling hook, which allows you to climb locations and stuff. So now that we've done the tear thing, you'll notice that this thing is shining blue, and this will have cleansed a couple of chests nearby. So that is going to be what we're going to be looking for. Like I told you at the beginning of this gameplay segment here, we have these shrines that transform you into Raven, and now we get to look to see where we can go and get some loot. And as you can see, we purified this shrine, but this shrine is going to be a very tough enemy. Looks like we also have another shrine there that we should be able to loot. That means that there's going to be a chest here that you can get, but it's got 2 really tough enemies. I don't want to go in there just yet. So let's actually move along and look for other locations that might have some loot that we can get, like maybe here. Yep, that one's glowing white. That means that we can go ahead and get loot from there. Okay, we have a Juggernaut, a Crusher, and probably a non-elite. Okay, we're gonna go in there. We're gonna get to work. One of the things that really bothers me in this game is the fact that swapping your locked-on target is pressing down as opposed to flicking the stick. Which this is just like some serial killer controls. I don't know who came up with that idea. We did a parry right there, which as you can see staggers enemies AoE, which is very nice. That's one down. That's another parry. You become invincible for a little bit after a parry. That's another parry. Woof! Perfect dodge. So this game is a lot about perfect dodges and parries. So if you don't like that type of mechanics, you're going to have problems. Now the Juggernauts have this thing where they don't really get staggered by your parries, and it's extremely frustrating. I hate the Juggernauts. I can't stand them. Okay? Because I like it that when I parry, everything gets staggered. It feels very good. But these Juggernauts will not get staggered as much as I'd like. There we go. We killed him. I love the ragdoll in this game, by the way. So, we've now collected 3 fragments, like I told you. There should be one more fragment around here somewhere. Okay, yeah, see, but we are full, because now we have 3 of them, so we have to use them. So let's go ahead and use these 3 fragments. And just like I told you, you draw 3 cards, you get to choose one that you get to keep. Now, in this case, we have Fossilized Leech, we have weapon damage increased by 75%, you have whenever you empower fragments, gain 1 mana. Now, I'm going to get this Key of the Strong because mana is really important. Remember how I told you we got 5 mana for doing that tear event at the start? That is at the top right-hand side. You can see that we have 5 mana. Without that mana, you can't play any of these cards. You can choose them, you can keep them, but you can't play them. So we're going to grab this because this is going to cause that whenever we level up, it's not really level up, but whenever we gather 3 of those fragments, we gain 1 additional mana, which is really good. So we're going to go ahead and grab that. Now, we're going to grab the other fragment that's around here. Yep, get that. And now we have a chest. Chests basically work just like if you filled out 3 of those things. You just get 3 cards. Boom. Depending on the chest type, there are these chest types that only give you mana, which is also very good. So we have Lost Riches, we have Unlock a Relic slot, and we have Reinforce Armor. As you can see, Relic slots have a limited amount of slots. So right now we can only have like 3 things in the Relic slot. I think I am going to I'm going to gamble a little bit, and I'm going to take this reinforced armor. Because you see, there are different types of things that you can get. And those will be assigned to different locations. So for instance, using the reinforced armor is going to actually go on a piece of armor that we might be able to get further down the line, whereas using a relic like we just did goes to the relic slot. So I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to hope that we get a decent piece of armor in another camp that we're going to clear out. So let's now look for the Raven Shrine once again. Let's see what else we can do. It'd be good if we could at least get all the way up into the boss so that you guys can see what a traditional run kind of looks like. So I'm going to jump in here. Looks like there's another camp around here. I'm actually going to just go and clear this camp, even though it doesn't look like they have a chest. It's whatever. Did they actually hit me? How dare you? Oh. Dude, these weeds are really messing with me. I can't read their attacks because of the weeds. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pop my extra damage. Jesus Christ! This is not going well. This run's about to end real fast. There we go. Okay, that's the Juggernaut done. There. She's dead. Like I said, I'm not particularly good with the double axes. Doesn't look like we get any loot from this one, which kind of sucks, but we still get the fragments, so we get to roll. Tuftir the Turing armor, worn twin axe, worn great axe. Oh, that's what the Berserker does. We can actually swap to different weapon types. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do this and use 2 mana and swap weapons. We are now using a great axe. Not that I'm any better with great axes, but, you know, at least I'll get to show you guys 2 weapons on this run. Although I don't think that this run is going to last particularly long at the rate that we're going. Now, let's see if we can find another camp that we can go and raid. But, yeah, things aren't looking very good. The position of our tear here was not the best, which means that we're not going to be getting a lot of really good loot from what I can tell. Oh, well. Maybe we'll just loot some cursed chests, because I don't think I'm going to be able to... I don't think I'm going to be able to do much here. Oh, wait, there's a chest here. Let's go ahead and loot this one. Why you gotta be blocking, bro? That's the parry right there. Ooh. Oh, I shouldn't have risked that. That was bad. This is not good. Dude, even with the damage of the Great Axe, this is struggle city right now. Yep, and that's the end of the run right there. Boom. It's that simple. That's how it goes. You make a mistake, you die. It is what it is. We didn't even get to see the boss. And the game crashed immediately afterwards. See, this is the problem, and this is one of the reasons why I told you guys that I would suggest that you wait. Now, I'm going to be showing you a little bit more of gameplay naturally, but do be aware that this is going to be something that is going to happen. So, you know, it is what it is. Okay, for our second character, we picked a wolf person, and he is a berserker, and right now he is wielding a 2-handed axe, which I believe was the same thing that the first character was wielding. In terms of perks, we now have, not perks, traits, whatever you want to call them, we now have the Parrier trait, which is actually very interesting because it reduces our health, it reduces our guard health, but perfect guards remove all the damage to the guard health. That means that you can parry with impunity whenever you want, because usually on a regular character, every single time you parry, you know, either you block or you parry, whatever, you lose the health of your shield. But on this character, if you perfect parry, then you actually don't lose the health of your shield. Progression-wise, we're pretty much at the same point that the other character was when it died. So let's see if we can clear up one more camp before we have to go back to town, because I need to go heal myself. Let's see if I avoid dying here again. That would be good, right? Like I said, the thing about this character's perk is the parry, so let's go ahead and parry. Because we can parry with impunity, which usually you can't. There's punishment for parrying. There we go. Parry again. Boom, 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 boom. Just straight up abuse all of these characters. Oop, missed the block there. Gotta be careful, gotta parry. Ah! The problem is you have less health, so whenever you mess up the parry, it's that much worse. Oh god, no, 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 no. That was not a parry. It would be good if we didn't just straight up die again, like we did previously. Oh god, don't you dare. Don't you do me like this, bro. I'm trying to make a video here. Oh god, he glitched. See, if you move them too far away from their leash spot, they start becoming invincible, which kind of sucks. Come on, bro, you already leashed. You're good. Oh my god, really? There we go. We can start dealing damage again. Listen, you're dead, okay? Doesn't matter what you do. You're dead. Let's go ahead and do this. It'd be great if I would get like a healing thing. Gold shackled bottle, troll deterring armor, key to the strong. I want this. I like this item a lot. Let's go ahead and collect that as well. Interesting, I hadn't seen the mill here. That's nice. Now, as I told you, there are these cursed chests that you will get. I'm gonna go ahead and get one of these. So if you notice, when you do that, you absorb something, and if you notice on the bottom right-hand side, one of the symbols has like a nasty, evil face on it. What's going to happen is that the next time that you get 3 symbols, you are going to get a curse that is going to increase all of the... And oh right, I can just straight up do this. Nice. That is going to increase the health and damage of all the enemies by 5%, which kind of sucks. But you know what? Since we're on a bad streak... Ooh, do I really want to do it twice? I want to do it twice. See, this is the thing that I told you that happens when a player dies. Somebody died here, and because they died here, this little thing shows up in my world, and I get to consume it. So, now as you can see, we have 2 evil faces in there, which is not good. This is not something that you want, because look at what's going to happen now. As I reveal this, bad, bad. That is great. So I don't even want the deterring armor, because we already have a piece of armor that is actually giving me 60% more health. So I don't even want any of these. Oh crap, no, wait. I could have taken the card and broken it. I'm so stupid. My bad. Idiot. Anyway, carefully crafted earrings, weightless tool belt, weapon damage increased by 30%. Dude, I can just get even more crit. Sure, let's go. More crit. Alright, now, we don't have a lot of health, as you'll notice. This is a problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get some coin, because we don't have any coin. Oh, we do have coin right now, so I can heal myself. So we're going to jump on to the village over there. Is there a shrine nearby by chance? It's too far away. And the wolf can run super fast anyway, so I'm just going to make a run for it. So we're going to go to the village, and in the village we can heal ourselves because we have 75 coins. And with those coins we'll heal, and then we're going to do the side quest, which will give us a little bit more coin. And we'll also kill some more enemies for the side quest, so that's good. You usually only get 1 main quest and 1 side quest. The side quest is just a way for the game to give you a little bit of gold in case you're in a predicament like I am right now. These quests are not super important, as you can see. Where's the Zutlagi would suffer the wrath of scorned holder, one of those dark hearts with assault the healer, carrying medicine for the sick. With every hour more innocents are succumbing to the fevers, and it will not be stopped without treatment. Say, champion, will you do something? Sure thing. Thieves without hearts. So that is the quest that we got, but before we leave the city, I'm gonna go over here, because this lady can actually heal me for 50 gold. Thank you. You don't get a full heal, because they're pretty cheap over here. But hey, you get a little bit of healing, and now you get to jump up. And we're going to fly straight to the quest location, because like I said, that is going to give us a little bit more gold, and that is going to be useful. So, let's just jump off here. Yellow, what's up? Whoops. 2 juggernauts? Really? I hate juggernauts because they don't get staggered from parries, but that's okay. Because I become invincible. Oh, these guys got health for days! I'm the real Juggernaut. I'm the Juggernaut! It is what it is. So we came out here to get, I'm assuming this is like medicine or something. Box of herbs and oils. Do I get an additional curse thing? Wait, I should be able to get some of this. Yeah, give me that. Fragment. Give me another one. And if I collect this one, we'll buff the boss a little bit more. But hopefully it should still be manageable. And we're going to get a card. What do we have here? Come on. Rest for the weary. Nice. This is very good. See, this is very good. And we also have the relic slot, though. Oh, my God. I'm going to risk a relic slot. This is not a good idea, but hey, I want a relic slot. So there we go. We now have a relic slot and... Your perfect guard inflicts bleeding and weakness on attacker. Oh my god. It's a piece of armor though, which sucks. I'm gonna have less health, but this is really good. Oh, and now we're already locked in. See, if you look at the bottom right hand side, that means that you're locked in. And now if you'll notice, there's already a quest to take us to the next boss. But the thing is, I kind of want some more mana. So let me see if I can find a mana camp to raid. And we're going to make this boss a little bit more powerful, but I want to upgrade my armor. What do you have? Purchase armor draw, weapon draw. Okay, well, I'm not interested. Let's just go complete the quest. And then we're going to look to see if we can find a camp that actually has some mana on it. So that we can equip the different arm. Well, I don't need that for the boss though, to be honest. Because I'm probably not going to be parrying much on the boss. On the boss, I usually tend to just dodge. This boss is fairly easy if you spam dodge. You know, on a good day. Because sometimes I mess it up real bad. Let's hope that day is not one of those times. Let's go ahead. Yeah. See, this is why you really should wait with this game. NPCs are invisible. They're invisible. But they're here. Don't worry about it. We completed the quest. It's all good. We got some coin for it too. But I think I'm going to risk just going for the boss. Let's see if we can kill the boss like this. The first time that I defeated the boss, I actually only had 13 health. I perfect dodged everything the boss had. And I killed it. It was great. It was good times. But this time, I actually want to try parrying, so we might end up getting ourselves killed. But we'll see how that works. This is the first time that I'm playing the parry character. I really like it, though. It's a lot of fun, but it requires a lot more practice. Oops. Messed it up. Here's the boss's entry. And this particular boss is always the same because it all gets chosen in that first room that you go in. So we chose the Gale section, so we're going to get the Gale boss. You don't necessarily have to do it like this. I believe you can do any boss that you want. This is just kind of like the natural progression that the game is going to go through according to the choice that you make in that room. Hello! So you get into this arena. This boss is going to come right at you. Oh my god, parry is so good when you have it infinite. Oh! This is the problem, is that if you don't parry it properly, you're done. Oh god! Ooh. god, no, 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 no. I'm risking so much. I really shouldn't. This boss is so much easier if I just dodge. I need to stop this parry nonsense. Boss is staggered. I get the hack away with impunity. Oh god! It hit me. It hit me again! No! We died. So here we are at the boss fight. Again, I had a bunch of really bad runs. Let's see if we can make this one count. I'm actually using a greatsword now. In this game, it's called a longsword. Unfortunate naming. But, yeah. Looks like the longsword does way more stagger damage than some of the other weapons. It could also just be the sword that I have equipped. Oh, really? You're gonna do me like this again? No, 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 no. Not this time. Okay? This time, you are going to take it. This time, you are going to take it. Yes, you are. That's what's up. And so what happens after you kill one of the bosses is they're going to give you their blessing, and that is going to remove any hatred that you might have accrued. So even if you get a bunch of hate chests and all of that stuff, and you get a bunch of debuffs and you increase the damage of all of the monsters, what is going to happen is this dude right here is going to clear it up. And afterwards, he essentially resets your run. Not really resets your run, but like, he sends you back to the beginning of the run. And at this point, it says, blessing received, hatred cleansed. You do get to keep anything that you already had with you. So in my case, I only had the relic that gives 20% critical chance, and I have like a chest piece and a weapon, right? And I had these two cards. So you keep everything that you had, but now you've completed one of the bosses, and now you have to select one of the other ones. So I'm going to go ahead and select this one, and the cycle repeats itself. So the idea is you're supposed you're supposed to get 3 blessings from the elders. That's kind of like the next, not elders, they're called Elri. You're supposed to get 3 blessings from the Elri, and once you get those 3 blessings, I honestly don't know what comes next because I haven't really gotten that far. I've gotten to 2 blessings, but it seems that the enemies start scaling after you kill a boss. So enemies become tougher because naturally you also have buffs and stuff like that. And on my 3rd run, like pretty much most of the enemies that I was fighting were like 2-shotting me. So yeah, that became extremely challenging. But yeah, this is kind of like the crux of the game. Like I said, you're going to have to do quite a few runs in order to get the practice required to, or maybe not, you know, depends from player to player. But in order to get the practice required to go ahead and deal with the enemies that the game is going to throw at you. But, you know, then you're going to get to somewhat unlock new traits and stuff like that. To get new weapons and new things that you'll be able to do with your character. But yeah, that's kind of the game. Now if I'm going to talk about some other aspects of the game, like I haven't really touched up on the visuals, I've had a lot of people tell me during my live stream that like, ooh, the visuals look bad. And it's like, this is a budget title. So the visuals are not going to be AAA quality. In my opinion, I think that it's got a pretty decent art style, and usually that to me is one of the more important things. Like if it's got a decent art style, if it's got okay animations, then usually I'm okay with playing it if it's something that seems enjoyable. And in this case, I don't think it's that bad. Like I've had people criticize it harshly in my stream, and I was like, I don't think I agree. I mean, I think this looks good. Does it look like the best thing ever? Like, look at that character's face. That's a face only a mother could love. But, you know, it doesn't look like the best of the best of the best. It's not going to blow your mind. But it's functional. I think it's all right for a $30 game. I don't really have a problem with the visuals. And then we have a couple more problems. Like, we have sounds. To give you guys an idea, before I recorded this little bit, I had to restart the game because some of the sounds weren't working. It's one of those situations where clearly this game should have just been left in the oven a little bit longer and should not have been released. Oh my god, there's so many enemies here. Should not have been released as it did. This is my personal opinion, feel free to disagree. But, you know, at the end of the day, it is an enjoyable game, but is it really going to stand a chance in this market when it doesn't really have like a solid release with the game crashing and having all of these issues that we talked about, with it being always online? And it's like, it doesn't surprise me that the reviews were mostly negative when the game launched on Steam. This is just the way that it is, you know? Like, you're gonna release a game that's always online, actually doesn't have multiplayer, and then you're gonna have the game crash and have other sorts of issues. It's you know, it is what it is. Like, I'm hoping that with a couple of patches the game can get better, but at the end of the day, I just think that games shouldn't be released in this state to begin with, because it's not the consumer's responsibility to be like, oh, there's some errors, let me try troubleshooting, let me make sure that I can, you know, let me fold myself into a pretzel to see if I can avoid some of the problems. Like, it's not reasonable, like me having to restart the game because, oh, the sound just decided to stop working. It's like, it sucks, but unfortunately that's the way that a lot of video games end up getting released nowadays, which makes me a little bit sad. Did I not clear the... I mean, we cleared the thing. I guess this wasn't one of the camps that got cleared. Oh well. Anyway, that's Ravenbound. Like I said, my recommendation for this one is wait for some patches, and hopefully the game will get better. I'll keep checking in on it as they patch it, which usually tends to happen, and we'll see what the game is looking like in the future. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, hit it up with a like. If you did not enjoy this video, the dislike. Feedback is important. Thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay strong, stay safe, peace out.